So welcome to the channel, welcome to this episode all about mid-air collisions. And so today we're going to be talking about this new FAA advisory circular that's just issued about mid-air collisions. We're going to talk a bit about this document and the recommendations that have come about that. If it's the first time for you on BizJet TV, welcome to the channel. Lots of content here about business aviation and lots more aviation wise. Also we talk about space travel as well, which is something that's coming more and more into the news as people go up into orbit and pay tickets to go up into space and that. So subscribe to BizJet TV. You can also become a Diamond member. The benefits of becoming a Diamond member is you get access to exclusive content here on BizJet TV by becoming a Diamond member. And if you really like this video at the end of it, please give us a super thanks. That helps us to be all happy here on BizJet TV. My name is Fabrizio Poli. I'm your aviation advisor. Let's get into the tofu of today's episode, all about this advisory circular about avoiding mid-air collisions. Off we go. So, the FAA, from time to time, they look at accidents and situations that have been happening, and they come out with what's called an advisory circular. Now, it is a good idea, whether you're a private pilot or you're an airline transport pilot, to always be watching out for these new advisory circulars and reading up on them and understanding what they do. Because what the FAA does, and this also here in the UK, the Civil Aviation Authority do the same thing. And so it may be a good idea, even if you're an American pilot, to look at what the British CAA are issuing and vice versa. Because, you know, as pilots, we should always be learning all the time and improving all the time. It's really, really important. Flying is quite a new game for the human being. Flying has only been around just over 100 plus years. And so, you know, there's new stuff being discovered all the time. So more we know, more we can, we can increase our safety. Basically, that's what that's all about. So this circular is important. It talks about different regulations, and that also talks about a number of accidents that have happened and what's been learned from these accidents. So that's important to read, and there'll be the link below the video for you to be able to go to the link and download the circular yourself. It also gives a few mnemonics, which is interesting. It talks about planning, and planning is really, really important. You need to understand what's happening around the airport. So read your NOTAMs carefully, find out which taxiways are shut or open, lights, all this kind of thing. Be familiar with your departure airport and also your destination airport. That's really, really important. If you are flying on your own, make sure you brief yourself carefully, and I would do that loud. So talk as if you've got another pilot with you, even if you're on your own in the airplane. If you've got a passenger sitting in the right-hand seat, use them to look out for traffic. So ask them, like check right, and they can turn right. Brief them on what they need to be looking for and things like that. It's always best if you can carry another pilot, a safety pilot. But again, that pilot needs to be briefed to know what to look for. And if you have another pilot with you, then of course it'd be good if they've read over this as well. Now, a couple of mnemonics that they throw in there, which I thought was pretty cool. The first one, before landing up, is the LCA, which is lights, camera, action, they call it. Lights meaning your landing lights. Camera meaning your transponder on, because when you put your transponder on, it tells all the other airplanes that you are there. Okay, so even if they can't see you, they now see you on their screen. And that's important. And then action, which is basically, talk to ATC, read back clearances properly. If you are crossing a runway, always say so. Even if they clear you to cross the runway, you need to say crossing runway 25. Say your call sign and crossing runway 25. Because if anybody's lining up on runway 25 and they hear that you're crossing runway 25, and same if you're lining up, listen out, see if anybody's crossing the runway. Because sometimes air traffic can get it wrong, or pilots just think they're allowed to cross when they're not. So you've got to keep your ears open as well as your eyes open in this case. Another one is the react, which is for takeoff. When you're going down the runway, the R stands for engine RPM or thrust, is the thrust where it needs to be. The E stands for engine gauges, so the engine gauges where they need to be. The A stands for airspeed alive, so is the airspeed increasing? That's important. C is for runway centerline. You need to keep that centerline. So if you've got a crosswind, you've got to correct for the crosswind. And T is your takeoff point. Be aware of where you reckon or where you've calculated you think you're going to be lifting up into the air. And that's the react mnemonic. So the other thing that it talks about is the difference flying during the day compared to flying at night. you know, the different lights and this and that and what to look for. And that's really, really important. So you need to kind of be aware of that. In particular at night, things change completely. So you've got to really, really be aware of lights and that. And I always recommend, you know, doing visual approaches at night can be a bit dangerous. So you want to stick to instrument approaches unless you are very, very familiar with the airport. But even then, make sure you're familiar with lighting and all that kind of stuff. And if there's two of you, you know, talk to each other. That's really important. That communication needs to keep going. So that's what do I think of this advisory circular? I think it's very good that they've issued this, because the incidents and accidents that have been happening lately of this clearly tells me that, you know, that there's a bit of a lack of knowledge about this subject. And so, you know, we need to be aware that these things do happen. And so if you're aware more of the surroundings around you, you know, the aircraft, the lights, the this, that, the other, then you can prevent these mid-air collisions from happening. So overall, I'd recommend you download this and have a read. If you are a pilot owner, of course, and if you're just an owner or looking at buying a private jet, you know, make sure your pilots are always, you know, improving every day and learning every day, and, you know, give them time to study this kind of thing, because it's really, really important. You don't want your pilots flying all the time. They need days off. They need training days, and allocating extra days for training, I think, is really, really good thing. It's just going to keep you, your executives, your family a lot safer. And that's really, really important. So that's all from me on this episode. If you like this, I encourage you to subscribe. And if you're not a Diamond member yet, you should become a Diamond member by clicking on the join button below and give me a super thanks, because this was a great video. And that's all from Fabrizio Poli here on BizJet TV. And check out this other video about mid-air collisions. And that's all from me on BizJet TV. I'll see you on the next one.